It is Sunday night and we are live in the Madhouse, and we got a great show for you tonight. Something very special, very special. But before we get to that, let's go back and we're going to revamp on the week that went by. Last week, Dana Fuchs. There's really not a lot more to say than that. Dana Fuchs. Check it out. Amazing. I want to personally thank you, Dana. It was a great show. We had a little Skype problem. We did Skype her in live, but we had an issue with the Skype, and actually we edited a lot of it out. So go back and watch that show. If you missed that show with Dana Fuchs, believe me, if you're into music in any way, shape, or form, any genre of music, go back and watch that show. I'm telling you, this woman is just beyond off the hook stuff. I'm telling you. But Dana, we can't thank you enough. Kevin, thank you so much. Mike, thank you so much. And we, like I said, I went and saw her at the Rubin Museum in New York City, and she was stripped down, not her personally, but no electric whatsoever, no microphone. Her guitar player, just an acoustic guitar player, no amp, in this museum. And it was something I was like, wow, how is this going to work? And this girl just blew this place apart. I mean, blew it up. Amazing, amazing talent. Just don't ever forget that name, Dana Fuchs. Believe me, she's playing actually right now, as we're sitting here, she's playing at the Brooklyn Bowl. So if you didn't get your tickets, and you can still run down here, maybe you get a seat. But Dana, we can't thank you enough. I hope you had a blessed birthday, and we love you here, and we can't wait to see you again. And I know you're coming into the studio to do a little live stuff right here, as you promised. So I got you, girl. We got you. So thank you so much. That's really all I want to really talk about from last week, because I have such a great show tonight, and I have some really good people, some good friends here tonight. That's just going to really change your whole night, let me tell you. Going to change your night. But let's go to we're going to go to a quick commercial. I don't know what we're selling, but we're going to try to sell something, and we'll be back with the Maverick Soul. I am Tommy Marr, and I'm bringing you a super band tonight. Super, unbelievable band, and believe me, when we get done tonight, you're going to be buying an album. So we'll be right back. Hang in there. Get yourself tight. We'll be right back.
We're going to do a live commercial. Hi, I'm Renee Marie. I'm the president of Language of Love Incorporated Foundation. I'm really happy to tell you that we're going to be doing a Language of Love telethon on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please look for the location on my website, ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And once again, it's ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And the show will be hosted on the Madhouse TV. It really is important for you to be aware of strokes and aphasia. Strokes is the third leading cause of death in America, and the first leading cause of disability. And it really is something that plays no favoritism. And it also really comes when you're not expecting. Nobody expects to have a stroke, and nobody expects to suffer from aphasia. And it really does make a huge impact in your life and change your life in one split second. So we look forward to having everyone join us once again on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you could follow us on ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. Once again, it's ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And we look forward to seeing you. God bless.
Stretching under sedation or manipulation under anesthesia is a very gentle, very precise procedure to very slowly release any scar tissue that is formed as a result of a traumatic injury. Many people ask, how does this work? Will I get hurt? Will you stretch me too far? We only stretch the body part to its normal range of motion. After completing the post-MUA rehabilitation program, it's very common that our patients say to us, hey, I can play ball with my kid again. Hey, I can bowl again. Hey, I can enjoy hiking again. This is what makes it rewarding to us as practitioners.
Being a fireman is more than just putting out blazes and giving kittens CPR. Sometimes my duty demands I fan the flames, like when a call comes in from a lady who needs immediate assistance. Maybe she needs help with a computer thing. Maybe she wants to go antique. Could be as simple as understanding that walking in heels it's hard. Aussi simple que l'été dernier à Paris. C'est sympa. Maybe it's ladies' night in, and she wants a simple, delicious recipe for margaritas with a twist. First, a can of limeade. Now hold on to this. You'll be using it. Side note, kittens make everything better. Next, add water. Now, a bottle of light beer. No, shh. Trust me, I'm a professional. And last, and most important, Sauza Blue tequila. Now, mix it up. Ole. Yes, that's what I'm trained for. Whether it's to help her choose leggings or pants, telling her leggings are pants, or discussing leggings and jeggings versus pant pegging at her next ladies' night in, I'll come to the rescue. Don't call me a hero. Just call me. Let me know what time.
We are back. We are back live with the Maverick Soul. I am Tommy Marr, and we are in the Madhouse. And tonight, whatever day it is, it's mad. It's crazy. Rough day out there today, but going to be a better night. So when I bring you this show tonight, you're going to be much happier, and you're off tomorrow, so you can relax and do your thing and be all right in the morning. But I just want to introduce. I have some friends in the studio, but before I even do that, I want to just give a little shout out, and we're all gonna give you a shout out. But I want to give a shout out to a very special friend, Mr. Harold Black. Now, Harold, we just had a birthday party for him at the Delancey in New York, and that's the Cynz played there that night, and that's who our guests are in here tonight from New York City, ladies and gentlemen. Cyndi, Dawson, and the Cynz. Hey! But Harold, let's all... Can we have
Happy
a shout out,
birthday,
everybody?
Harold.
Let's all say hello to Harold. Look right in that camera over there.
Hi, Harold.
We love you, Harold. We love you. All right. So, Cyndi, talk to me a little bit about the Cynz. I mean, first, we'll get into everything, but let's go back with you, how you really started. I mean, you actually are a poet, and just give me a summary of how it all manifested into where you are today. I mean, I know, that you were a poet, and I kind of know the story, but I want to hear it from your lips of how in your head your travels got you the way we are today.
Yeah, I'd like to understand that too. I started out as an actress, actually. I was a dancer and an actress, and I did that for 20 years. But I always worked in rock clubs. I was always into music. And because I was always told that I couldn't sing, so what I did was I was a writer. I wrote poetry, and so I would perform with a rock band, but as a poet.
Right.
And then it wasn't until years later, Henry's an old friend of mine, so when we reconnected 4 years ago, we met each other again through Facebook.
Henry said, could you just take one of the olds rather than an old?
Yeah.
This is one old.
You'd be surprised how far back we go, because I think I was 15 when I met him first. But
I love that, though. I love that.
I
still have all my friends from kindergarten, really, and we still hang out.
I did too. I came from a small
we
town.
We still hang out.
Yeah, so hello everybody from Highland Park, but and they're all watching, by the way. But he got together with me to do some poetry pieces, and we had fun doing it. So we said, oh, let's do another one. And as we were doing them, he said, why don't you just sing your words? And I said, no way, because I can't sing. And he said, what do you mean you can't sing? And to be honest, I still don't consider myself a singer. I'm a rock singer, which I think is a little bit different. And I had to just find my own voice and find my own style. And get off the whole idea of hitting notes and
Oh,
holding.
a good example of that. I mean, Mick Jagger. I mean, could he go in Carnegie Hall
No.
and get up and sing?
Well, he could now, because he's Mick Jagger. But,
He
but
could
I'm
go
not
anywhere he
there.
wants,
I'm not
right.
there.
But I mean, that's an
Yeah.
example of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I mean, there's a lot of phenomenal, world-class, billion-selling album guys that really, they're not the greatest singers in
Right.
the world, but the chemistry is right.
Right.
And to me, chemistry is everything.
and then you have the Disney stars, that are all auto-tuned and all that. And,
Gee, we don't,
I-
we don't discuss them here in the Maverick Soul.
Right. But we had so much fun working on the songs, and when I finally got over the nerves of singing,
Right.
and I actually started to enjoy it, and I actually started getting into it, and writing songs for me is very different from the way I approach poetry. There are times when I've combined them both. We do have songs on the CDs that where there are breaks where I'm reciting poetry over the music, so I still try to incorporate that.
Right.
But songwriting for me, and I always thought it would be a little bit like cheating. It wasn't as hard. I was rhyming, which I don't do with my poetry. But actually now that I've been doing it, it's one of the most intricate processes, because you've got to get the syllables all right. We've got a
Phrasing.
line,
And another
phrasing.
brain than somebody else who
and
has
s-
like
right, and I'm
entirely
not in
different
control
ideas.
of it completely, because he and I are working on it together, whereas I'm so used to telling the band, this is what I want you to do, this is the landscape I want you to give me, and the mood I want you to give me for the poem. But in actuality, with a song, you really are, at least with us, we're really collaborating.
Right.
So I have to take
Rewrite
his
all the
idea.
songs.
Well, I mean, that's a big part of the ball game. I mean, what's Zeppelin without Plant and Page,
Or
you know,
Jagger and
yeah.
Richards.
Yeah, there's even a better example.
Yeah.
That's a better example, because I mean that's that chemistry thing again. And obviously, if you've known each other since you're 15 and you're only like what 26 now, 27.
I am forever
So you've known each other
26.
for about 13 years, and that's got and I could tell you got love for him, and he got love for you, and you got his back, and he's got your back, and I mean, really,
Well, we're-
nowadays
we're
the way
family
life is,
at this point.
is usually a dagger in your back nowadays, but that's a
Yeah.
great thing, and the collaboration between the two of you. I mean, I'm sure you completely trust him, and he completely
I
trusts
do.
you.
Totally.
And I mean, and he's going
Yeah.
to tell you right. I mean, you're going to tell her
yeah.
Oh, we do.
that she's making,
We do tell each other when.
Sometimes she comes into my territory with like, I want to hear this kind of riff, and then sometimes I go into her territory where no, I think it should be if instead of what, or and instead
right,
of
right.
to, or
Well, people don't realize how important phrasing is.
Absolutely.
I mean, another great example is Robert Plant. I mean,
Yeah.
he's amazing like that.
Yeah.
But the great thing is with you two guys, and I'm sure that you step out of that box too to other people that you trust too, which we'll talk about in a minute. The other guy.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's people you trust too that you bring into your
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
collaborations, and because that's important. Because I know, like when I do, there's certain people I know I'm going to get a true, answer from, and it's going to be right. Because sometimes you're so stubborn in your own mind that no, this is right, and then you're right. You're right.
I
That
had
is
to do a
better,
lot of that with
you know?
him.
yeah. That
What's
happens
interesting-
a lot.
What's really interesting with us is because I've never played an instrument in my life, I have no musical training whatsoever.
Right.
I developed my own language for how I describe musical ideas. He gets it. So
Right.
but the bad thing is that
Chemistry-
when I get in front of people who, like Anne's very well, schooled, she teaches guitar. And plays several
Well,
instruments.
that's a good thing to have in the mix too.
Yeah, but when I'll
idea what I'm
say,
doing.
for example, if there's a break, and I'll say to him, well, okay, so before I go into the chorus, we're going to go 2 rounds, right? And everybody else will look at me sometimes and go,
What?
and I know what I mean by
And
2
he knows
rounds.
what you
He
mean.
knows what
Right.
I mean
I
by
know.
2 rounds. Or I used to say, because I was a dancer, I'd say, so we go 2/8. And, what do you mean by 2/8? Well, you count 8 twice.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like when you dance.
Right.
But he gets my language,
Yeah.
so he can translate that to the rest of the band.
I try.
That's the chemistry part.
My
People
role
don't
is
realize.
translator.
You could take, and I've said this a million times on my show, that and again, let's take the Stones. They've all tried to make solo albums, and so mediocrely successful, but
Yeah.
nothing like they do together.
Right.
So I mean, now they're people together that. Because I don't know why they never throw the bass player in. I mean, the guy's been with them a long time. I think his name should be in there too. But it's the collaboration and the chemistry between these people that make it work, you know?
Right.
And that's what people don't get, because individually, they all might not be the greatest in the world.
Yeah.
And far from it. But together,
Yeah.
you know, because I mean, like, you know, Jack has gone out on his own and did a few albums on his own.
Yeah.
And Keith Richards has also, you know.
I've
But,
worked with, before Henry and I reconnected, I did work with other musicians. I have to mention a couple,
Sure.
like Tommy Boozman, because he did a great piece with me called Shimmy Shimmy and other pieces. But my word rock, which we coined this term word rock because actually Jackie Sheeler, I have to credit her with that. Word rock was not just somebody doing spoken word, because it was to rock music. It was a little bit different than slam, and it was a little bit different than spoken word. So we coined this expression word rock. And that really was what I considered myself. And I was blessed to work with musicians that were patient enough with me, because I didn't know anything about
Right,
music.
right.
And they just understood what it was my poem was trying to say. And then what they did was basically landscape the poem and gave the poem a background. But what's very difficult for a lot of musicians is when you're doing poetry, the poetry is more important
Right.
than the music.
Well,
with
they
songs, I
have to be,
think.
they have to be a little spiritual too, to understand it, you know, to feel what your words
yeah.
mean.
Right.
So I've been very blessed. I've worked with a lot of really incredible musicians over the years, and it's been a learning experience for me. It's been a journey. My piece has evolved as I got to know more about music and what I wanted. I learned how to speak up and say, well, I want you to do this, and
Right.
I want you to do that. And it's got more of a rock vibe to it, because to me, I was always a rocker. And so I went from doing very pretty kind of pieces to more edgier things and jazz-based to the rock thing eventually with Henry, which is what I really wanted to do.
You found your place.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when she would take a poetry piece, just lines on paper, and she would either read it to me or I would read it myself and kind of reflect inward, okay, what am I detecting from this piece? What am I picking up? What am I sensing? What am I feeling? Then I would try to take those feelings and try to make chord patterns, riffs that interrelated to what I was picking up from the piece. And so that's how a piece would get started. I have this new poem, Henry, see what you think about it. So I'll take a look at it. Okay, I'm feeling this, I'm sensing this. So I'll play something.
Well, let me ask you,
and
let
then,
me ask you,
and then
do you ask her first what she feels?
Well, he just keeps
yeah.
playing, and then I'll say, that's getting close, that's getting close. More, give me more of the darker notes.
No, see, I love to hear how each different
Yeah.
artist, because some do it different. Some might just say, here it is, Henry.
Oh, no, this
Let
is,
me hear
we
what
totally
you got.
collaborate.
No, which isn't,
Yeah.
which works also, because then you come back and then you go
Yeah.
together. Because you might want a completely different, space,
Thing,
and
yeah,
in
exactly,
time.
yeah.
Well,
you
we
know.
definitely came up with it together. He might be playing something that's close but not quite,
Right,
and then I'll
right.
say keep going.
Right.
And that's, but
back,
another
look
thing you used to do was you used to tell me, that's too many syllables. Take a couple of those words out, and that would drive me crazy, because I
He's-
phrase things
he's right,
different than
though.
he does.
He's right. He's right.
There were times he was right, but then there were times when I would say it out loud. He could hear how I could roll my words, and it worked.
She would say, no way, this is what I
You know,
want.
you know, it's a perfect example of what you're talking about. If you ever go to a karaoke, I haven't been to a karaoke in a long time, but when people, they swear to God they know this song like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then they get up and they see the words, and now the phrasing is completely different. They use half words, they use, and now they're trying to say the whole words because they're reading it, and it's just a train wreck.
Yeah.
A complete train wreck, because phrasing is, people don't realize how important phrasing is, and timing of phrasing.
It is.
But I'm feeling a little kind of rude right now. I would like us to go down and let's meet the rest of your band, and we will continue the story because I love where we're at with this
Okay.
now. So, Cyndi,
Who's the band, Cyndi?
the Cynz.
Yes. Well, Cyndi Dawson, myself. That's where you get the sin. The Z comes from Henry Size, the last letter of his last name, Z. We have Andrew George and Ann Hussick,
On drums and bass.
drums and bass.
Cool. All right. Well, at that point, we're going to just take a quick break. We're going to do a little selling, and we're going to come back with the Cynz right here in the Madhouse on the Maverick Soul Hour. Hang in there and stay tight. We'll be right back. $1.3 million women are victims of physical assault by an intimate partner each year. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, the majority of cases aren't reported to the police. Most people who are in an abusive relationship don't even know they're in one. The truth is, all abusive relationships boil down to one thing: control.
How do you like it? My new dress.
Are you out of your mind? You look like a prostitute. We're not going out with you dressed up like that in public.
But what am I supposed to wear?
Wear something decent. You can't wear that out in public. We're going to be late. Get back in there and pick a different outfit. I'm going to go run some errands. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Please be ready, okay?
Fine, I'll change. Fine.
Abuse is not always physical, leaving wounds that are visible on the outside. Emotional abuse is just as painful, only these wounds are hidden on the inside.
Are you out of your mind? You're crazy. You look like a prostitute.
Know that abuse is abuse, no matter what the form.
Look at me.
Oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Physical abuse scars the body,
I just wanted to love me.
but mental abuse scars the mind.
What you just saw was an example of a relationship that is emotionally abusive. Nobody has the right to tell you how to dress or how to act. If someone really cares for you, they won't tear you down. They will build you up.
How do you like it?
Wow. You look great. Fantastic. But then again, you look great all the time.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd like it. It's my new dress. I bought it just so we could go out tonight.
You look stunning.
Thank you. But I think I'm going to take a sweater just in case it gets cold tonight.
Great idea. I'm going to take one too. Let's go.
All relationships are not perfect, but a healthy relationship is when two people bring out the best in each other and have each other's good in mind. Take your time to know someone instead of rushing into something. It is better not to involve yourself with an abusive person than to try and get out of a domestic violence situation.
If someone is abusive to you and you need help, please call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. They have highly trained experts available 24/7 who will speak with you confidentially and offer information regarding the unhealthy aspects of your relationship, resources, or immediate support for victims to find safety and live lives free of abuse. Domestic violence affects us all.
It affects us all.
Nos afecta a todos.
It affects us all.
모두에게 영향을 줍니다.
Che ci ricarte tutte.
It affects us all.
Domestic violence.
We are live back on Sunday night in the Madhouse with the Maverick Soul, and I got one of the coolest bands in New York City with me tonight, the Cynz. So, guys, I can't tell you how happy I am to have you guys
Thanks a
here.
lot, Tommy.
We have so much to talk about. We have CDs to talk about. But I do want to talk a little bit about when I saw you guys at the Delancey. And I mean, well, the whole night was kind of a crazy night to begin with. There was some freakazoids and some crazy people, but I had a ball. You know, it just took me back to, I used to live right by the by CBGB, so I was kind of in that vibe again. Like, whoa, But it was cool, and of course Harold Black, we love you, we love you. Hey, Harold. Anybody that knows Harold Black they know what we're talking about. I'll say no more. But one thing I do want to ask you, Cyndi, because this is like got to be one of the coolest names of a band I think I've ever heard of in my life. But Kamikaze Kitty and the Attack Cats. Now where did that come from?
That was and I have to credit my friend Lauren, who's now a very, very famous dating expert in Los Angeles. She's on TV all the time.
Oh, she should come and do a dating game here. We had
not a dating game. She's a dating. To the stars.
She's the hooker.
She gives it.
Hooks
she gives
you up,
advice.
right?
She's very expensive, and she tells you how to create love in your life and bring, women who are just not having success with that. They consult with her. She has seminars. She has books. She's amazing. But
You
she's
can make money at that?
Yes, she does. I learned.
No, we had a girl in here too. She charged $4,000 to get you a date. I'm like, is it that bad out there?
She's stunning. This woman is so stunning. It's ridiculous. But she was my
well, that helps.
my high school friend, and we both went to Lee Strasberg Theater Institute together in New York before we even finished high school. So we were living in a loft of her boyfriend's on the Lower East Side, and it was a punk rock band, lived in this loft because his father was a very famous photographer who was in Europe. So we had this big loft. I was 17 maybe. Yeah, I was in my last year of high school. And she wanted to create this band, an all-girl band. Of course, this is before the Spice Girls. And I was percussion. And we all had kitty cat names, and we were Kamikaze Kitty and the Attack Cats. And,
that's cool.
And we were all dancers. So what we would do is we would have a backing band, but we would literally be the performers up front. And this idea was so ahead of its time. And we were supposed to be managed by Stefan Israel, who was producer at MTV at the time, who's still a friend. And she had all these big names that were willing to work with us. But then one of the girls in the band, her boyfriend was in a band that had MTV videos, everything. They were supposed to be the next big thing. They broke up, and she and her boyfriend Ed moved back to, I think it was North or South Carolina. And that was the end of that.
That sucked for you, right?
So,
You had a nice little loft.
Well, I wanted to be an actress at the time. The band was a fun thing to do on the side, but I had big dreams for myself to be an actress. So I was busy in acting school and dancing. So I don't. This band's sucking everything out of me that I have left. So
that's all right. That's
in
all
a
right.
good
That's
way.
a good thing.
In a good
That's
way.
a good thing. That's a good thing. That means your heart's in it. So
my heart is completely in it.
Yeah. I know the night that I saw you guys at the Delancey, because I didn't know. I knew some of the bands that were going to be there, but I think the buzz was waiting for you guys to get up and play. I mean, there was absolutely no. I'm a people watcher because I don't drink, so I kind of just watch, and I could see the energy building as you were getting closer, and everyone knew when you were coming up, and it did. The whole thing changed. It changed when you got on stage. That's a good thing.
Thank you.
That's a good thing. I mean. You definitely erupted that place, and there was some great artists there that night. There was some really good people there. I kind of grew up at CBGB's. I used to live right there, and I mean at the beginning when they were in the Bowery, and I mean I remember seeing Blondie and all. When I didn't even know, the whole time I hung out there, I never even knew who the hell Blondie was. I didn't know who the Ramones were. I mean I had things with them too, but. I mean, I used to sit with Andy Warhol in there. John Lennon used to come in there. And then Max's Kansas City back. It was some good times. It was some crazy times, but some, it was a cool. I like the '60s more, but it was a cool thing to go through. So I kind of I was lucky in life to see all these different times and generations. You know, and it was a very different generation. It really, truly was. And that night in the Delancey. I went right back. I mean, and it was. I really dug it. I really did. It was cool. Like I got to laugh because I walk in and I said to the girl, "Where's the coat check?" And she goes, "This is not a coat check place." I understand completely. I got it.
Right.
Where's the pile?
Right.
And I went downstairs. There was a pile about 18 feet
Yeah,
high. So I was cool. I like that. I'd rather have that than the Waldorf or whatever. Sorry. Don't sue me, but I'd rather be with the real people than the facade that's running around in this world now. But so, talk to me, guys. Andrew,
Yes.
when did you join? When did you get
I've
involved?
been with the band for about a year.
Because I know there's
about
been a
this
lot of
time last year.
interchanges and things, and
Yeah, I actually was in a classic rock cover band for a couple of years, and I wanted out. And I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and get into a band that actually had really accomplished musicians in it, and to learn and get myself playing in venues I wouldn't have normally played in if I stayed with the band I was in.
He had no idea.
pile, right?
So yeah, it's and ever since I started playing with these guys, it's very fun music. It's a lot of fun to play. And
So
as a
you-
drummer, I like the energy of playing. That's
You
why I
landed
love
on a
the
new
instrument.
planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good
Planet
though.
Cynz.
That's good. That's
Planet
good.
Sins.
Yeah, the planet Cynz, we call
Planet
it.
Cynz. There you go. There you go. And Annie?
I guess I've been playing with you guys since June or something. I play in a few bands on the scene, and I happened to mention to Cyndi once that if they ever needed a sub, they could give me a call. And I
Ann's
got a
the
call.
new guy. Ann's the new
I'm the
guy.
But
new
Ann,
guy.
you play with a lot of named people, haven't you?
Yes, I played with a few. I sang with Ronnie Spector for 11 years. I sang with Wilson Pickett. I
I
played.
did too.
Did you? Not at the same time.
I'll show you the picture when we get out of here.
Cool. And a few other things, but I kind of left that about 4 years ago. I decided to leave Ronnie's band, and about 6 months later, I got into this band, Red Gretchen, and through my association with them, we met a whole bunch of people, and so it's a whole scene. And I also have a band that I front.
And you're a Queens girl, right?
I'm a Queens girl.
And we're big fans. We're big fans of Annie's band.
That was what took so long to have her play with us, because we're such big fans of Red Gretchen. I didn't want to step on their toes, because, and I know you're allowed to do that, but I didn't want to because.
Yeah, I
You
felt
know.
her vibe as soon as she walked
Yeah.
in the door. I did. And it's a good one. I like it.
Thank you.
But we're all real good friends. I mean,
Yeah.
all the people in her band. Hi, Ronnie. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Shauna
Ronnie.
and Nancy. They're great people. They're a really talented band. And sometimes we do gigs together where she does double.
Right.
She does a
right,
double
right,
shift.
Right.
And so it
That's
just
bass
worked.
players. They're in 95 bands, everywhere.
Well, because there's not
It's tough
that many
it's tough
really
to
good
find
bass players
good
around.
ones with a good head.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good ones, but they.
Yeah, no
about
offense,
bass
Andrew,
players.
but drummers too. They're crazy.
I'm only mildly
They're
insane.
the quiet one, Like that. They killed 87 people. He was such a quiet boy.
Bass.
The bass
That's the
player.
bass players. They're so
I'm not the quiet one.
She's
No,
not.
I can see that. I saw you. I caught your vibe when you came in the door.
You know what was great with Annie? I just want to say that we had, I always had males in the band. And when she came into the band, it brought a different energy
Dynamic.
completely. And he used to say, well, when we have auditions, we can always get, a woman. And I'm like, no, we'll fight. And, I just had this thing where I just thought, I've always heard the stories of women
Yeah.
together in bands. And it's not true.
No.
I mean, we actually have so much fun on stage together. So now, whereas my other bass player that we had in the band was very quiet, but very talented, but very quiet, I used to always turn to Henry for all the interaction on stage.
Right.
And now I can
know
go
exactly
left
what
or
you're
right,
talking
and it's or look behind me. It's
See, like
great.
even Stevie Nicks is back in happiness now because she's back. So
Yeah.
her partner in crime.
But it is a different energy with you on stage completely, and it's a good energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Most of the bands I've been
that,
in have
you know-
had other women in them, so I'm kind
I
of
mean,
used to
I've
that.
been on stages with people. I mean, I did a New Year's Eve gig one day with guys I really, the keyboard player and the bass player I didn't know, and they just came for the gig.
Yeah.
And the next thing I hear is, I mean, there's 500 people there in this club, or dinner club, or whatever it was, and I hear, and the guy turns around, smashes his bass over the keyboard player's head, and they go in, and I just kept singing, and
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this is not good. So,
What did I say to you the other day? I said it's always Spinal Tap. Being in a band is always Spinal Tap.
I couldn't respond to that. It was too close to home.
Spinal Tap. There's great moments in Spinal Tap to relate to a lot
Yes.
of music. Let me tell
There
you
is.
something. Like, I mean, to me, when Stone Edge came down, I mean, it don't get any better than that. It doesn't get any
Yeah.
better. But that just shows you how things can go so bad.
Yeah.
But that to me was hilarious. And when he got caught in the pod, he
pod.
couldn't get out.
I think my favorite thing was the drummer spontaneously combusting.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about some of these CDs now. I don't know if we could pick this up, but
That's our first CD. That was called
The original Cynz.
The Original Sins. And it contains 13 songs that Cyndi and I wrote, with the exception of one song,
which
is,
we had
which
to
is
put on.
a cover song, which we really love, by the 13th Floor Elevators. It's a great CD. You can get it on CD Baby, Amazon, everywhere where fine CDs are sold. You can download it, and I'm very proud of that one. And then,
Well, I just want to say, I've heard this album, and check it out. And you know, what he just said, you can go back, for my slower people, you can go back and watch it again. And he'll repeat where you can buy it. But definitely pick this up.
yeah, it rocks. Mainly all of our songs are we write them, I conceive of them as being dance-oriented.
Heavy.
Things you can move to,
Driving.
you can sway to, you can do the whatever.
I call them
dances,
drivers.
You know. Yeah, absolutely, driving rock songs. And our other CD, which I think you have up there, is actually an EP. It has 5 songs. It's called 5 Mortal Sins, and that has 5 songs on it. One of them was co-written by our good friend Gary Heffern, who was from the Penetrators, a very famous San Diego band during the early 70s.
Gary's amazing. Hi, Gary Heffern.
Hi, Gary.
Gary actually said, he sent me a message one day, and he said, I wrote this song, and he said, and you're the only band that I want doing it. He goes, I could record it, but I heard you when I wrote it. And so he gave us the song to write the music to. So it went so against everything that in my comfort zone, because I'm so controlling about it. I have to write everything, because that's how I'm a writer. And so it really was our exception, other than the 13th Floor Elevator song, that Gary gifted us with the song. And I was so terrified, because what if we don't do a good job? But he loved it. He loved the song. And actually there's a video, and it's called Blame It on the Kiss. And if you go on YouTube and you do the Cynz Blame It on the Kiss, and you could see the video and hear the song. But Gary's an amazing man. He has done so many things.
Sometimes stepping outside the box is good.
Well, this whole
Did you
band
love
thing
it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. He
I liked
loved
how
it.
it came out.
So
I
it's a
really
win-win.
did. It was.
There
And
you go.
the whole band has been stepping out of my comfort zone for me.
Yeah.
But when you do that, some amazing things really happen.
Yeah,
You know, if you stay within your area,
Yeah.
you
The
know,
imagination growth can be a lot bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got it. But I also know where you're coming from, because I write, and like, no, that's my,
Yeah.
I know where that's coming from. But when you get to a point in life, let it all come in.
Yeah, there's a lot of letting go of control when you start working as a band, as opposed to just being a poet. I don't mean that in a negative way, but being a poet and having that control all the time. It was hard for me to kind of let go and let people, give me ideas.
I hear you. I know exactly what you're talking. I hear you 100%. So I do recommend this one. Now, where can they also places?
Also, Amazon, CD Baby, iTunes.
And they're downloadable as singles. All the songs are downloadable as singles on our Reverb Nation page.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now let's bring another friend into the mix here a little bit. Let's bring in Mr. Pepe Castro.
I love Pepe.
We all love Pepe.
Yes.
Pepe's been in here quite a few times, and he's a great guy. We love him here. I mean, the guy is just a phenomenal man.
Yeah.
But tell me what you got going with Pepe.
He's a beautiful guy. He's one of the founding members of the Blues Magoos, and he's been producing several tracks with us at his facility, and we love him. He's very meticulous.
Great guy.
We're kind of used to just going in, slam, bam. And he said, hold it, wait a minute, I hear this, I hear that.
He hears everything.
He hasn't been around as long as he has, because he doesn't hear the things right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it was good. It's great working with him, because it was actually an education for us.
I was going to say, you learn.
Seeing how he works. Hey, I like that, but if you do X, Y, Z.
And then you kind of get where he's coming from, and that's always for your own thing.
He
down
pushed
the
me
road,
vocally so hard.
That stuff stays in your head.
That's another occasion of getting out of your comfort zone. When you're lucky enough to work with someone like him, who's willing to say, hey,
you're blessed to have him.
Yeah.
I mean, God Almighty, the
well,
guy is a
he likes to
legend.
say he drank our Kool-Aid, and now he's now he's a big fan. He's a big fan of the Cynz.
No, he grabbed me that night at the Delancey right away, and he goes, Tom, you got to hear these guys. I'm working with them. I said, oh, I'm on the show.
It's a funny story with Pepe and I, because Pepe actually saw us. We were doing some shows for Larry Harkey at Sam Ash, and Pepe, as a friend, I guess, of Larry. I'm not quite sure. He's a friend of Joey Kelly's as well, but he somehow ended up at this show, and I didn't know who he
He was great, too.
Yeah, and he came up to me and introduced himself. And we started just sort of messaging on Facebook. And one day I said to him, well, what do you do? Are you in a band too? Because you seem to know a lot about music. And he said, well, maybe it's better you just Googled. and after I Googled, I was so embarrassed because I'd been talking to him for months. And he had invited me out to record with the band. And I just thought, no, nobody's this nice.
Right.
Long story short, he really is that nice. He really is that nice. He
and
just
that's-
believed in the band.
It's nice to know that there's a couple left out there, because, boy, I'll tell you, this world. So, what gigs coming up?
February 7th at the Court Tavern in New Brunswick, a legendary rock and roll venue. And with our friends the Fletchers, who are they're a great band. And March 7th is my annual 26th birthday bash. So, and I'm also with the Fletchers. And we're going to have some surprise guests coming up. And I think Mr. Castro may be coming up to do something with us.
Hey, cool.
And if he's not traveling, because he tours a lot with different bands, as you know. And but he said if he's there, he'll be at the gig. And what's after that?
We're
We
also
have the poetry gig on the 4th of March.
On the 4th of March, I'm at the Sidewalk, because Ann books that as well. Henry and I are going to actually do a rare performance of some of my new poems from a new book I'm working on. And
but in a format that we it's kind of like going back, stepping back a little bit to how we first started,
Right.
which was just her
Which I'd love
and
to do.
me on
Cool.
an acoustic guitar
Love it.
or an electric guitar with a little
Well, it's
band.
like I'm saying with Dana Fuchs, that thing, it was just so, I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't get any
Yeah.
more raw than that. And
So we're
people
looking forward to
appreciate that,
that.
and they can see the true talent, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you can't hide. There's no place to hide. It's
You're out there.
You're out there.
Yeah.
And like I said, first of all, it takes balls, and second of all, you better be good.
Yeah.
we have a possible date with the Magoos. We did a date with them at the Barry Electric sold-out show. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was such a success that they're going on a tour. And there is talk about a possible date in April, but it really is out of their hands. It has to do with the booker and the
Right, sure.
promoter. But that's a possibility, and I'll actually let you know if,
Okay,
if
cool.
that's going to happen.
Maybe we'll like to take a trip. All right. Well, listen, I want to hear you guys. I want you to get up here and blow this place apart now. So what do you think? You in for a little live music?
Yes.
All right. So stay tuned. When we come back, they are going to be here live on the stage in the Madhouse right here at the Maverick Soul Hour. So get yourself ready. Get comfortable. It's coming. The Cynz in a couple minutes. We'll be right back.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
We're going to do a live commercial. Hi, I'm Renee Marie. I'm the president of Language of Love Incorporated Foundation. I'm really happy to tell you that we're going to be doing a Language of Love telethon on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please look for the location on my website, ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And once again, it's ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And the show will be hosted on the Madhouse TV. It really is important for you to be aware of strokes and aphasia. Strokes is the third leading cause of death in America and the first leading cause of disability. And it really is something that plays no favoritism. And it also really comes when you're not expecting. Nobody expects to have a stroke, and nobody expects to suffer from aphasia, and it really does make a huge impact in your life and change your life in one split second. So we look forward to having everyone join us once again on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you can follow us on ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. Once again, it's ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And we look forward to seeing you. God bless.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, GMC, in the place to be, the greatest MC in history. There will never be an MC greater than me. And right about now, the only place for you to be is with the one and only Madhouse TV.
You are the man. We are back, live in the Madhouse. Live, I tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cynz.
This is a song called Mean Girls. 1, 2, 3, 4! Mean girl. Mean girl. Always jealous, ain't your sister? You got your lips stuck in a whisper, dressing like you think you're hipper, but your hand is caught in someone's zipper. Mean girl, you think you're coming, but you're going. Mean girl, you're playing sweet, but your meat still showing. You give it all you got just to be still showing. You're a mean girl. You're not really all that pretty. Your dirty looks make me feel pity. But girl, you ain't ruling New York City. 'Cause I don't want you nowhere near me. That's right, girl, keep on going. Keep on going till you're walking out the door. 'Cause mean girl, you think you're coming, but you're going. Mean girl, you're playing sweet, but your meat's still showing. You give it all you got just to keep things going. You're a mean girl.
you think I'm coming, but you're going. Mean that you're playing sweet, but your mean's still showing. You give it all you got, but your mean's still showing. You're a mean, mean, mean girl. You're a mean, mean, mean girl.
That was produced by Pepe Castro. We're going to do another one produced by Pepe Castro as well, and engineered as well. And this is called Superfan.
Oh, Henry always breaks a string. He keeps those companies in business.
So anyway, well, we've got a free moment. I'll introduce the band. We've got Ann Hasek here on bass, as we said before. Henry Size over there fixing himself up with a new guitar. And Andrew George over here on drums.
And Miss Cyndi Dawson, vocals, songwriting, poetry, good looks.
What was the song called? Superfan. It's a stalker song. Everybody's for sale. Girl in the band. A photo for a grand. Make sure that where you stand is gonna make you her biggest and her baddest super fan. We're all going to hell. Watch her move because she knows it well. You play her song just to hear her breathe. You can't have her all, but you take a piece just to be her biggest super fan.
Baby, you're a super fan.
Just get her out of your head.
You're a super fan.
You should be better off dead.
You're gonna be a super fan. You're gonna be a super fan.
Everybody's for sale. From the very first breath to your last exhale. You wanna keep them turning stale. Just let everybody strip you man. I'm gonna be the biggest super fan.
You're a super fan.
Just get her out of your head.
You're a super fan.
You should be better off dead. You're gonna be
A super fan. You're gonna be a super fan.
Cause everybody's for sale. From the very first kiss to your last exhale. You wanna keep them turning stale. Just let everybody strip you back. I'm gonna be the biggest super fan.
Baby, you're a super fan.
Just get her out of your head.
You're a super fan.
You should be better off dead. You're
Gonna be a super fan. You're gonna be a super fan. You're gonna be a super fan. Thank you.
We've got two brand new songs left. These are not even recorded yet, so this is a little special opportunity to play them here. And the first first one is called Learn to Feel Alive. It's kind of a ballad. And Henry's going to be pulling out the Ricky 12-string for this one. This is my favorite guitar. That's my favorite. So much prep for this stuff, isn't there? So much prep. Thank you for having us, Tommy. It is definitely our pleasure.
We had to work hard to get here, so we really appreciate it. Extra.
That's right. This was some day in traffic. This was crazy. So we also had a nickname for the show tonight, and it's called The Miracle Show, because it's a miracle that we got through all those accidents and all the traffic just to get here. Okay.
Years ago I turned your head. Skip 2 years of tears instead. right, thank you out there in
We like that
television land.
Thanks for writing such groovy songs, Cyndi and Henry. They're fun to play.
Thank you for playing them with us. See, this is really like a big group hug here on stage. This is another brand new one that we have not yet even recorded, and this is called Something to Steal. Thank you so much.
It's hot in here. Come over here, young lady. It's hot in here in the madhouse today, that's for sure. Guys, that was awesome. Very, very awesome. Very awesome. It was great. Wonderful, wonderful. Cyndi, send some love over here. We thank you so much for coming in. I can't appreciate you made a long trip here to get here, and it was well worth it.
It was really fun.
It was
we had a blast. This is an incredible studio, by the way.
Thank you so much. So we just want to thank you, and we're going to invite you back whenever you want to come back. Whenever. Tonight, tomorrow morning. Well, we'll just hang out and sleep.
I just want a room
home in the studio because it's got the best furniture and stuff.
All right. Well, listen, I can't thank you guys enough for coming in, and I know it was a long trip and a rainy day. So thank you so much, and God bless you. Go out and buy the CD and go and see the Cynz. I keep saying S. C-N-Y. C-Y-N-Z. C-Y-N-Z. See why I forgot that?
It's a play on S-I-N. That's why.
Yes. And we know that you would never sin. So you got to be in a band that sins. So the Cynz, don't miss them. Check them out wherever they're playing. Follow them on Facebook. You have a Facebook page?
Yes, we have a Facebook page of The Cynz, and our main page where you can hear some of our music is on Reverb Nation/The Cynz.
There you go. You have it here, right here with the Maverick Soul. I am Tommy Moore. Have a blessed week. We will see you next Sunday. Thank you guys so much for coming in. It was beautiful, beautiful.